Hey there, Abiding fam, welcome back to my channel. I'm so glad you're here. And if this is your first video that you're seeing of mine, welcome. I would love to have you join our Abiding fam. All you have to do is hit that little subscribe button. I put out new videos weekly, many of which are bullet journal related, just like this. And if you hit that little bell, you'll get notified when those new videos come out. I often get comments on my work that say things like, I'd love to do something like this if only I were more artistic. Well, my goal in this video is to give you some realistic tools and ideas for how you can achieve the aesthetic you want, regardless of your artistic abilities. First tip is to use a ruler and stencils. So it's amazing how just using a ruler to get straight, nice, clean lines suddenly makes your bullet journal look a lot more appealing. You also can use a ruler to measure out your spaces so that all of your blocks in a weekly spread, for example, are the same length and height. And a great way to make those lines even more visually appealing is to change up the line weights by using different size pens. Another great tool you can use is stencils. All you have to do is trace around what is already there for you. This number stencil that I get from Amazon is one of my favorites. I use it all the time and I'll have it linked down below for you. But you can also use different stencils like these Tim Holtz ones that I'm using right now to create cool patterns. And they do have a lot of bullet journal specific stencils available on Etsy as well. So I always recommend checking those out. And the best thing about stencils is it's a tool that's also going to train you to draw and create these shapes that you're outlining so that eventually maybe you can do them on your own. With just a ruler and stencil, you'll have a great page in no time. The next tip is to play around with color. One of my favorite tools for that is some kind of pen. So these mild liner highlighters are one of my all-time favorites. Here I'm just adding a drop shadow to these boxes, and just like that it really adds something to the page. Next I'm going to go in with Tombows, another favorite. And one of my favorite ways to add color is just to do a swipe of it, and then over the top of that I can put a date or header. And it's a great way to just add a little pop of color to the page. Another way to do that is of course just to color things in. Here I'm using a colored pencil to color in the date. And these are just fantastic ways to add just a little something extra to an entry to make it stand out. My next tip is to trace and copy others' work. This might seem like it shouldn't be allowed, but I'm telling you, people put out their work because they want you to be inspired. And as long as you're not posting it somewhere and trying to take credit for something you didn't do, it's perfectly okay to copy, and that is how we all learn. Another way I like to copy others' work and to learn from it is to get books by other artists. So here I have this lettering book that I'm copying a letter out of that I've never tried before. And I also love using books like botanical line drawing, which I have a video on, anything that's going to help me to learn, but you can also find ideas on Pinterest and just go ahead and try copying others' work to develop your own style. My next tip for the artistically challenged is to download Printables. This is a great way to get beautiful art into your journal without spending hours drawing it yourself. One of my favorite places to go for printables is actually Webster's Pages. They have a free download section. There are tons of free printables available across the internet. This is just one resource, so I highly recommend you go and look at many others as well. My other favorite place for printables is from your favorite creators. So I actually have a Patreon page where I put out printables every month for my patrons, and this is just a great way to, one, support the creators you love, and two, to get the art that you love because clearly you're following that creator for a reason because you like their art. It's a way to get their art into your journal. So with printables, all you do is download them and then print them right at home. If you don't have an at-home printer, you can always take them to an office store or of course your local library and get them printed there. So once I print out my printables, all I have to do then is cut them out to size. I can play around by even cutting out the little elements of the individual printables. And the great thing of course about printables is it's okay if I mess something up because I can always print it again. You'll see me use printables throughout my bullet journal if you check out any of my monthly plan with me's. I often use Printables because it's such a quick and efficient way to get beautiful art and even just words. So I have, as you can see here, these Printables from this month that are just hand-lettered words for the days of the week, and I can just go ahead and put those down on the page without hand lettering those all out myself. So not only are Printables great if you are artistically challenged, but if you're just time challenged as well. I know I personally don't have time to be drawing out things in my journal all of the time. The amazing, beautiful spreads that you often see are usually taking hours upon hours for people to do. So this is a great way to not only get beautiful art in your journal, but also to save you time. My next tip is to be creative with Washi. Most people in the bullet journal community love to use Washi because it's so quick and efficient, and it's just an easy way to get something pretty on the page. One of my favorite ways to use Washi is just as a simple strip. You can do it as a border, up or down, vertical, horizontal, it doesn't matter. But like I said, it's a very easy way to add color onto the page. But I want to encourage you to think outside the box with Washi. It doesn't just need to be used in a strip. Here I'm cutting out a piece of Washi so that I just have a little portion of that Washi and basically using it like a sticker. So you can use Washi in strips, or you can use it as headers for your different days of the week. The limit does not exist, so go ahead, be creative in how you use it, and before you know it, with just a few strips of Washi, you're gonna have a great spread. Two of my favorite journaling tools is photos and stickers. So I use my Canon Selfie to print out little miniature photos at home. If you'd like to learn more about how I do this, be sure to check out my video, How I Print Photos for Journaling. You can get photos off of Pinterest if you're just looking for a certain aesthetic, or as a way of recording your abiding memories, you can use photos from your own life. My next tip, of course, is stickers. You guys know that I love my stickers. I use these Create 365 stickers, or I go ahead and use these awesome American Craft sticker books. These are just two brands that I know and trust, but of course there are so many different ways to get stickers. You can check out Etsy shops, you can check out your local craft store, whatever it may be, but stickers is just a super easy way to add something that's really beautiful on the page, related to that season, or just having nice florals. It's just a great way to have something visually appealing that is artistic and looks like it took time to draw without doing any work yourself other than placing something down on the page. Similar to this, I also like just using paper sometimes. So in this case, this is just craft paper, which came from an old paper bag. So it doesn't even need to be paper that you buy, but it's another way, once again, to just add visual interest to the entry without doing any artistic work. So for this weekly, I just used the photos and then the stickers and paper to sort of act as like a backdrop or a way of highlighting those photos. And then I went ahead and just indicated all of the days of the week with these cute little foil heart stickers, and just added a few more touches to the photos just to make everything pop a little bit more. And as you can see, just those few elements with literally the only thing I drew being words, that's all it took to make a really cool spread. And while stickers and washi and all that is super fun, I think it's really important to also just embrace minimalism. It's okay for your bullet journal to not always be super beautiful and artistic. Embrace the fact that your bullet journal is not an art journal, and that's okay. Some people use their bullet journal as a place to continue practicing their drawing skills, spending hours upon hours on lifelike sketches of animals or doodling the most intricate Zentangles. But that doesn't mean you have to. Just because this is what you see on Pinterest, Instagram, and Facebook groups does not mean that this is the way to bullet journal, because there is no one way to bullet journal. That's the beauty of it. So embrace your style, whether that's minimalistic, crazy artistic, or somewhere in between. But of course, if a more artistic style is something you aspire to, keep practicing. Some of my first bullet journal entries were not that great, believe it or not. In fact, they looked like this. Not horrible, and I'm proud of them, and I love being able to look back on them, but I'm amazed by how far I've come in such a short time. It has been an amazing journey, and I love that I get to share it with you. So just know that all of this that you see, it takes time. So work at it, practice, and give yourself some grace because you're not going to get there in one day. Perfection does not exist, but progress does. And every time you put pen to paper, you're making progress. So just know that the whole point is to have fun, and above all, remember your bullet journal is meant to be a path to more productivity and mental clarity in your life, not a path to self-doubt and hours wasted. It's okay to spend hours upon hours drawing in your bullet journal, if for you that is time well spent. But if it's not helping you achieve your goals or clear your mind and relax, then just slap a sticker on the page, write down your to-do list, and get at it, girl. Seize the day and live your abiding life. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please be sure to give it a big thumbs up. And of course, subscribe so that you can see more content in the future. I'd love for you to check out my Patreon for printables and more journaling inspiration. Be sure to thank my patrons because they are the ones who voted for this video to happen this month. So whether using washi, stickers, photos, etc. in your journal, just remember that you do not need to be artistic in order to explore your abiding creativity.